All right, here we go. The watch this video for Wednesday, July 19th. The SPY gapped down a little bit, but ended up closing strong. I'll talk about that in a minute. I always like to show some slides first. And if you didn't hang around in after hours, you know that Dry Ships announced another reverse split. What is this, about 40 of them? But this time it's different because they've added some high-tech vessels to their fleet. So I think it's going to run tomorrow. Here's a screenshot of one of their high-tech vessels. Very impressive. All right, sorry, that was funny to me. I did call. I want to share this too. Another screenshot. CAPR, 97 cents I called today, and it went to $1.62, but I traded it like a schmuck, so I can't really brag about it. But it was a really nice call. And then I always like to show my equity curve because I promised y'all I would. And you can't tell, but it was up a little bit today. I made like 350 bucks today. Not very proud of that. But again, I had that blunder on Friday, and until I get a new green dot, I still haven't erased Friday's losses. So that's the nature of day trading. Let's go into the watch list for tomorrow. So the SPY gapped down today, and you can see it rallied up into the falling 520, 5-minute candle, 20-period moving average, and then looked like it was going to tank, and then spent the rest of the day climbing higher. So, we're just basically still hanging out near all-time highs. And that's all I need to know as a day trader is I can go ahead and just build a normal list. All right, so here is the list for Wednesday. AVEO was on Bounce Watch. It just goes back on Bounce Watch for tomorrow. Right smack in the middle of this area that I call the buy zone between the 8 and 20 daily EMA. Very strong move here, and then a clean pullback on pretty small volume. Definitely a good setup for a bounce sometime this week, maybe tomorrow. APRN, a recent IPO that IPO'd around, it looks like around 10 bucks, went to 11. It's been falling ever since. A couple decent bounces on the way, and now a gap down and then two nasty red days. This thing at some point, value investors are going to step in and say, okay, APRN is worth something. So as a trader, I want to be there when that happens. I think it's getting close to that point. VSTM. A lot like that AVEO, really strong move, and now getting into that area between the 8 and 20 day moving average, so it deserves to be on Bounce Watch. SNGX had the big pop yesterday, kind of a quiet inside day today, closed well off yesterday's highs, but tiny volume compared to yesterday. I think we might have a third day play sitting up there, certainly worth watching. BONT had a massive move from 31 cents to 96 cents and actually tried to hold up the next day too. Now we've got two red days on much smaller volume right down to the 20-day. This is a good candidate for a like a decent percentage move bounce play. All right, so the BONT goes on watch. TEUM, this is probably my least favorite because it had this huge move and then it had a gap up after kind of consolidating and then 2 days straight down, but it is in that area near the 20-day. But it's almost round trip. So the way I look at this is it closed here, and everybody from this price above is underwater, right? So the long thesis is sort of not playing out for most people. But having said that, with it closing below $1, I think you have a potential of $1 being an inflection point tomorrow and maybe a little bit of an upside move. So not in love with that one, but we'll watch it. YUMA, recent high flyer, few days red, declining volume, worth a watch. CAPR, again, very proud of my call today. Traded it like a schmuck, but called this one basically over this opening 2-minute red candle, 97 cents, worst case stop below 90. And you can see what it did, switching to 5-minute candles there. 97 cents all the way to $1.60. That's something that I traded like I had a monster position, and I actually had a small position, so I killed it on the first pullback, and I shouldn't have. So I didn't make very much money in it, but it's worth watching tomorrow again. I mean, that volume and that green close is certainly going to catch some attention from people doing their overnight scans, so we want to watch that one. CBAY gapped up, ran, and then tanked yesterday, and then gapped down today, I think on an announcement of an offering. Not positive about that, but then a huge day today, so I don't know what to do with it, but I definitely want to watch it tomorrow. Very strong day today. Let's try this again. OPGN, nothing fancy about the chart here, but in after hours they announced the CEO bought I want to say like 1 million shares or something crazy like that. And it went to 38 cents in after hours. As I'm talking right now, after hours is still active, but nothing's going on with this stock. and it's at 34 cents. So I think this is worth watching because of the after hours activity, but it's not much. If it opens where it is right now, it won't be much of a gap. And I'm not a big fan of the sub-dollar stocks, but I think it's worth watching because of that after hours news. DCTH, you know what? This is kind of tagging along after this big pop. You got lower high, but it seems to be finding support in this 12 to 13 cent area. Again, I'm not adept at trading these penny stocks. And I don't trade over the counter, but this one is listed, so it's worth watching. And it had a nice little volume spike today, closed kind of strong, and then in after hours, they announced someone announced a stake in it or something. So that might be enough with support below to give us a nice update tomorrow. I definitely want to watch it. XGTI is just kind of plodding along a little higher each day. I like it over today's high, so 211. Which you have another catalyst just above a break of this high, 213. So you have 211 and 214, which also 213 was the high back here. So you can picture a line of resistance from here to here. So over 213 is certainly a catalyst. Maybe we make a run to this recent high, 229, and maybe through it. Okay, so this one is worth watching. A little bit of a weird daily chart, but it goes on radar here. NVGS had on bounce watch today. I never caught a trade in it because you might look at that and say, well, I bet they caught a bounce. They had it on bounce watch. But if you look at it, it just decided to rally like in the last 30 minutes or so. But with that strong close, it's worth watching for potential long tomorrow. Couple more. PRAN. This is what I call a sleeper play because it only traded 120,000 shares today. But over today's high, then you've got the whole number inflection point 3 above, and then maybe this recent high of 324 in its sights. And it did have news today, so I do want to watch it, but I'll need to see some volume with that one. And then lastly, I have APHB, which I had this chart on watch for like a week straight. Took it off watch going into today. I didn't have it on watch today, and then I saw it pop it. So I said, you know what, this is a handsome chart. I've been watching it. You have a $1.20 high here. You have a lower high here of $1.09, and then today's high of $1.06. So I have catalysts, potential catalysts, $1.07, $1.10, and $1.21. This is a handsome setup. Definitely want to watch it tomorrow. We will also add gappers that we find in the pre-market. And between all these and the gappers, hopefully we catch a couple good trades tomorrow, right? Have a good night. We'll see everybody tomorrow.